but in the meantime, let's go ahead and get started. Just some instruction as well as far as questions. Candidates, I'm going to go in this particular randomized order, and I will give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself, kind of give us some ideas why you're running. And then I have a bunch of random questions that I just asked ChatGPT to spit out that are designed to get to know you, to get to know a little bit of your why you're running. They're professional, some are funny, some are rapid fire, so be prepared. We really want to know your personalities here and what your passions are and what's driving you. Okay, so we are going to start with Theresa. You're number 1 in our randomized order. For those of you who don't know, Theresa DiCiolla is currently on our board of directors. And Theresa, we'd love to hear more about your background and what's motivating you to continue in your leadership role. So you have to unmute yourself and give us a spiel. There you are.
Oh, sorry, Michelle. My whole thing flipped out. I had to log back in.
Oh, well, you were first.
Oh,
so
of course.
I introduced you, and
okay.
I am asking to hear more about your background, what's motivating you to continue in your leadership role.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And thank you everyone for being here. I mean, I really appreciate you and understand the importance of this forum and getting to know us. So that's really great. Well, my name is Theresa DiCiolla. I am a broker associate with Allison James Estates and Homes. I have been a board member now. This is my first run at it. This is my 3rd year. And let's see, I am a mentor, a trainer, a coach. I've mentored probably over 100 new realtors, in my career. Training and guiding new agents is really what I love. There's nothing more rewarding than celebrating when they give the keys to their first client. It just refreshes me every single time it happens. But I started on the association's grievance committee about 10 years ago, and then moved on to professional standards, which I have been on for about 7 years, where we hear cases that are brought before us, either between agent to agent, seller or buyer to agent. And that's also really, really a cool thing. If none of you are involved in either grievance, I would say get on that committee. But anyway, I love to learn, I love to teach, and I'm deeply committed to upholding the integrity of our profession as realtors. I believe in our ethics, our bylaws, and the standards that earn us the respect that we really do deserve as real estate professionals. So when I sat down, I made some notes, but when I sat down to think about, what I was going to say, it's not the easiest to talk about myself. I don't know if, most people don't like to talk about themselves, but I reflected on kind of how busy this past month has been for me, not only in real estate, but also, my personal life. It's been graduation season, and I've been celebrating, some big milestones with, my kids and my grandkids. My oldest granddaughter graduated from Western Colorado University with a psychology major. My son earned his degree in civil engineering at Cal State Fullerton, and I had another grandson graduate from Paloma Valley High School. So all of them, just really so proud. But as I watched my grandson walk across the stage at Paloma, there was over 550 graduates in the class. And that's just one city, one night of graduates. And I thought, oh my God, all across our valley, that's thousands of students who are, starting the next chapter of their lives, whether they're going to college, going in the military, or going, right into the workforce, whatever their plans are. They're the future homeowners. They're our future clients. And in just this 1 week of graduations, thousands of them in our valley, and they deserve, to own a home at some point. And one of us as realtors is going to get to help, each and every one of those kids, I call them, and give them their keys on their closing day. And so I really would like to continue to fight for their right to own a home and have the means to do so. But let's see, this is my 3rd year on the board of directors. I already said that. I can honestly say I don't even know what prompted me to apply 3 years ago when I got the email asking for candidates. I never had really thought about it. I got the email. I said, what the heck? I applied. And but I just, something in me knew it was my time to kind of step up, and serve. So my first year on the board was all about learning, all about how the things work, how to make my voice, effective. And in my second year, I became a CAR director. So that meant I got to travel 3 times a year to the different CAR meetings. And I kind of really think that's when I got they call it the realtor party, the purple party. That's kind of when I really got the bug, and sitting in on all the different meetings there and hearing about all the upcoming laws and rule changes, and actually being able to, have a voice in that. It kind of fueled my desire to fight for home ownership rights and just be a strong advocate for property ownership, whether it's one home, or many. At our last meetings, we had a law coming up where they wanted to restrict the number of homes that any one person or whatever could own, which, I don't know, that's just goes against everything that we say, So anyway, one of the most impactful parts of these meetings is on the general session, where all the CAR directors, and I don't know, you can probably correct me, but I think there's close to 2,000 of us in the room. We get to vote. We get to vote on all of the things that we have been talking about all week. And I don't know, I hope you can hear the passion in my voice, because it really opened my eyes, and that, we can make a change. And they really allow anybody who wants to come up to the microphones to voice their opinion and say what they want to say about the current thing we're voting on. And it goes on for quite a while. They really let everybody come up. And sometimes it's changed my mind. Sometimes it's made me rethink that what my position was going to be and how I was going to cast my vote. But anyway, as your board of director, I've always strived to represent, you with thoughtfulness and dedication and heart. And I'd really be honored to continue doing so. So when you get your ballot tomorrow, I hope you vote for me. That's Theresa DiCiolla.
I have a couple questions for you,
Oh
Theresa.
God, you should
Yes,
say
yes, I
ahead of
do.
time.
And guys, just so you know, if I didn't say it already, if you guys have questions, please do put it in the chat or Q&A. We've got somebody
Lord.
monitoring, although they are trying to get Yvonne on. She's having technical difficulties. So we're working on getting Yvonne on, but we're also going to monitor the Q&A. And every couple candidates, I'll ask Theresa to see if we have questions, and ask their, we won't do it after every candidate, but after your little speech that you give, I'm going to ask you these questions. So, and they're all going to be different, I hope. Theresa, what unique skills or perspective do you bring to the table?
Oh my gosh. So, well, for one, I kind of think it's honesty, and I don't want to say I have a big mouth, but I'm not afraid if I think something is not right, or I have questions or whatever. I really want to ask those questions. I really want to contribute, to the conversation. And in this role, you definitely can't be quiet. You're here to, make your opinion and your voice heard. And there's another thing I appreciate on the board of directors is we all have opinions. We all have our thoughts about things, but we all respect each other and each other's opinions and everything like that.
Okay, perfect. And then here's your next one. What is the best piece of advice you'd give to a brand new realtor?
Oh my gosh, to a brand new realtor, oh my God, there's several. So I always say, you have to be a chameleon. You have to get to know that client of yours as quickly as possible, and you have to kind of act like them. If they're loud and boisterous, you actually have to turn yourself into loud and boisterous. If they're more quiet and inquisitive, you have to make sure that you're getting all the answers. You have to kind of mirror, their personality in order to do that. I tell them they need to sometimes separate themselves from the transaction. One of the things when I started, Mello-Roos tax. There is no way in heck I'm going to pay Mello-Roos tax myself when you have so much more buying power without it. But I had to quickly learn that, hey, some people don't mind how much their payment is, what the taxes are, what their payment is. You have to separate yourself and really listen, to your client. And then I always tell them, be honest. If you made a mistake, if you screwed up, there's nothing that we really can't fix. Some might be harder than others, but be honest and just fess it up and let's move on.
Love it. Okay. What's your favorite room in a house?
My favorite room in the house I am at it is my kitchen table. I love my kitchen table. I don't know, just one for the space that I have, the view that I have. Well, real personal here. I've been in my house for 36 years and I bought it because the backyard was perfect for a pool. And that didn't happen for several reasons. And recently I started thinking, well, I can either get a pool and stress out how I'm going to make the payment, or I can not have a pool and stress out how I'm going to make the payment. But what's better? So I put in a pool a couple years ago, and I'm not stressing out how to make the payment. The Lord has provided. So, but anyway, so I have the view of my backyard, which I love.
It. Love it. What is your go-to treat for yourself after you close an escrow, a top escrow, especially?
Oh, well, my kids love it because every time I close an escrow, we go to all you can eat sushi.
Yay!
Yeah, and any of my kids that are available, I want to go. I didn't mention I am the mother of 3 adult children, grandmother of 9, and I soon will be a great grandma. Actually, she was due. Oh, she is due tomorrow.
Oh,
So
good.
any day.
All right, awesome. And last question. What is your vision for how SRCAR can better engage members who are newer to the industry?
I'm sorry, for the last part was for.
What is your vision for how SRCAR can better engage members who are newer to the industry?
We fight with that. We discuss that as a group all the time. And I wish I had the answer. The answer is to get more to come to the events, to come to the meetings, to come to the training. Like everybody knows, our industry is changing all the time, new rules, new forms. And if any of you have an idea on how to get more members, like look at this forum. What do we have here? 70 members, or not 70. What does it say?
Yeah, we have more than 70.
Yeah.
We have about 3,800.
No, I mean in this forum.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
yeah. No, we have 28 participants.
28 members, and most of us is the board, original board. That's half of us. There's only, maybe a dozen. I don't know what the answer is, Michelle, to get agents to realize how important it is. This is our career. This is our chosen path, and to not want to be more involved in making it better and learning. I'm sorry. I wish I had an answer.
Yeah, and I can personally attest is that's been one of our focuses for the last few years. We talk about it, like Theresa said, every single meeting.
Yeah.
And that's what we're hoping those of you who are elected by your peers can bring some insights to that, and let us know. So Theresa, thank you for being the first one to show the candidates how this is going to work. We have all of our candidates on the call now. Thank you for staff for working that out and getting everybody on. So much appreciated. We have a fabulous staff, by the way, guys. Let's give them a hand. Yay. Love our staff. We would not be here without them. All right, so next up is Kirk, Mr. Effinger. He is also a current director. Kirk, go ahead and share what drives you to stay involved in leadership and what you hope to accomplish if reelected.
Okay, well, first of all, thanks everybody for showing up and paying attention to this. I think it's very important that we have engaged members, and obviously I echo the sentiments of Theresa that we need to do more to do that, however we figure that out. First off, if anybody was to look at my bio, one of the things I start off with is the fact that I quite literally grew up in the real estate industry. My dad was a real estate broker and a builder. From my earliest days, I remember going out on job sites and doing various things in the construction field. And then later worked in a number of different capacities. I've done everything from build homes to sell title insurance to mortgage lending. I've done a little bit of everything. And as a result of that knowledge and that background, I think I show my commitment to the housing industry. I believe in it wholeheartedly, and I believe very strongly in the organized real estate that we are all part of. I don't think enough people appreciate what organized real estate does for our industry, as well as what it does for homeowners. And property owners. So that's part of my motivation. I have a long-standing history of volunteering for a lot of different things. And it goes to my belief in the mission of the organizations that I've served in. And one of the things that I think I bring to the table that's a little bit outside the norm is the fact that having served on boards of directors of a variety of different foundations and commissions and so forth, I've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't work. And I like to bring that to the organization. I'm actually one of the, now you wouldn't know it to look at me, but I'm one of the new kids. I've only been a part of the association for 6 years because prior to that I lived in a different city in San Diego County, and but when I first moved to Murrieta 6 years ago, I joined the association and immediately got actively involved. And I've served on a number of different committees, and that led me into the board of directors as well as a CAR director. And currently I serve as your association's treasurer and work with the finance committee on doing the things necessary to make sure that we remain a healthy, strong organization.
Yeah, thank you. All right, are you ready for your questions?
No, but I'll
How do you plan to support and advocate for realtor members in an evolving real estate landscape?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what it gets thrown our way, but I speak out on behalf of our membership all the time, both here locally and also at the CAR level. And if I'm fortunate enough to continue to be a CAR director, I will bring my perspective and the perspective of our members to the state association. There is no one-size-fits-all answer to anything, and it's important that we listen to our members as well as listen to people outside our organization to see what is the best path forward.
All right. How do you personally stay up to date on contracts, compliance, and legal changes?
I continually, well, first of all, I have a very good broker of record at my office, who is part of the forums committee and at CAR. But beyond that, I sign up for a lot of the webinars and so forth. Even though we get great education within my brokerage, you can't get enough education. I learn something new every single time I attend one of these events.
Yep, excellent. All right. What does part of SRCAR leadership mean to you personally, Kirk?
Can you restate that for me?
I was fast. I'm a fast talker, right? What does being a part of SRCAR leadership mean to you personally?
It means that I get an opportunity to help an organization that I strongly believe in and help develop new leaders in our organization. We've got some great people out there, and I agree with I couldn't be happier with the number of candidates that we have this time. I think it's a testimonial to the direction that we've been going the last several years, and I certainly appreciate your leadership and the way you've led us this year so far.
Oh, thank you. What is the strangest request you've ever gotten from a client?
Aye. I guess the strangest request was I got somebody that wanted me to bury an offer because they wanted me to basically hold out for a better offer, so they didn't want me to say anything to anybody, and I can't do that. That's not the way we're supposed to do stuff.
Exactly. All right, coffee or tea?
Coffee. Lots of coffee.
Perfect. All right, Gabe.
Hey, good morning.
you now. Who are you? What has your realtor journey been like? And what made you want to get involved at a board level?
Well, thanks for asking. My name is Gabe Almeida. Been a realtor since the end of 2008, and you may wonder as to why that is. I was an investor prior to that. I have a construction experience, and I was a law enforcement professional at the time, actually. And experienced some great successes and some very painful lessons were learned during that 2008 debacle. And with those lessons is where I decided to actually get my license. To help others through that, and I did so. I helped a lot of people both on the job and outside of the department, and do short sales and kind of help them move on with their lives and do what they needed. What I bring to the table is a wide range of experience, not just as a realtor, as an investor, and I look at things from all those perspectives. As a retired law enforcement professional, investigator, supervisor. My passion is to serve, and I'm not one who's used to talking about myself. In fact, if you look at social media, I don't really have a social media presence. I have a LinkedIn page and that's about it. All of my business is direct contact and referrals. And it's been like that ever since I got in the business. And it's been a good model for me. Might be a little different than others. But it's all in the spirit of service. And I look at this as a profession, a professional profession, not as a hobby. People used to say, "Oh, you just do that on the side." Well, perhaps so when I was in law enforcement, but actually I did both jobs full time because of my schedule. I am a big proponent of honesty and professionalism, and how that goes hand in hand with what we do. You think that it should, and it actually should, but we've all experienced situations where we've had other agents on the other side who could have been a little bit better at their craft, we'll just say. And as such, when I moved here to Temecula in 2016 after retiring from the city of LA, I brought with me, again, as I said, a variety of perspectives, and I immediately joined our SRCAR association. At that time as secondary, because I had South Bay as primary because of the broker that I was with. Eventually, after being with that broker for 14 years, came to the realization I really need to be fully entrenched here. Switched brokerages. This is my primary board membership, and I got involved right away, just like Kirk did when he first moved here. I was asked to join the grievance committee, and I did so willingly and lovingly, and been serving continuously for about 6 years now. It's a great group of people that we work with, and we're all volunteers, right? And why do we do it? It's not to say, "Hey, look at me." It's to make a difference both in our profession and our community and for our clients. I also have experience having served on the board of directors of a nonprofit organization. It was a pretty good sized nonprofit organization, South Bay Association. I mean, the YWCA, the Greater Harbor area. So I was flattered when I was asked to actually apply to be a candidate alongside everybody else here. And I gave it some thought before doing so. I have a lot going on in my life, but I thought, what a great compliment and what an honor it would be to be part of this board of directors. As was already mentioned, we have a wide range of experiences, different personalities. That also comes out, during the grievance committees while we're hearing or evaluating cases. And it's about kind of moderating things, keeping things in perspective, staying focused on the task at hand, and what our code of ethics dictates.
Excellent. So here are your questions. If you could only market with one tool, we're talking flyers, signs, social media, which would you choose?
That's a loaded question. And the reason I say that is because it depends on who you're marketing to, right? Obviously, we want to expose our clients' properties to the greatest, to the wide, we throw a wide net, right? And expose it to the greatest number of potential buyers. But ideally, you got to look at that property specifically. And through our experience, we pretty much know who is going to be the most likely buyer for that particular property. So while it sounds like I'm talking all around it, it depends specifically on my client and the property that I'm tasked to sell.
And that's a fabulous answer, right? So these questions are designed to get to know you guys and to see how you answer when you have no clue what I'm going to ask. Here is your next question. What would you do to encourage more member participation in association events or committees and events like this?
Really glad that you asked that. You know, it's nice to see that we have 29 participants, but as was mentioned, half of those are people who are already actively involved. It'd be nice. I understand we have about like 4,000 members, more or less. Obviously, not all of them full-time realtors. You know, when I first became involved with the association, attended our MLS marketing network meetings regularly when we used to have them every Tuesday. We had great turnout then. And then this weird thing happened called COVID that just kind of warped everything for everybody and life in general. And, you know, some things have recovered and others have not. One of the things that I've noticed, and I'm not saying that it's because of COVID, but post-COVID, you know, we all kind of adjusted with how we did things, including the SRCAR. You know, and I attend those meetings as I can, but the meetings that I have attended, I've noticed just a huge reduction in attendance, and I can't put my finger on it as to why that is. I've also, I'm also a SIG graduate. I was one of the first classes who graduated from SIG, the SIG program that the board, put together, and we had great participation then. One of the things, going back to your question specifically with regard to what I would do to get greater involvement from our membership, right? So one of the things that I compare SRCAR to, let's say, the prior association that I was with, is that when I came here, I noticed that, yes, this association provides a lot of training, which is great. We need that. We absolutely have to have that. But there was always a fee for that. Whereas the association I came from, very rarely did the participants have to pay a fee to attend a class, unless it was perhaps a certification class like seniors representative or the a variety of other designations that we get. But for purposes of continuing to stay on top of things and be the professionals that we are, I think it's important to find a way as an association collaboratively, to provide these classes at no cost to the membership. However that is accomplished, right? We can talk about how we could potentially accomplish that. But the end goal, to me, my vision is to be able to provide classes and expertise to our members so that they stay proficient, with their craft, stay on top of the new laws and rules. It's an ever-changing environment, right? So how do you best serve your clients is by staying informed and by continuously learning and know what you're doing. Treat it as a profession. Ultimately, yes, we do it because we like to, to serve others. We do it to feed the family, perhaps, right? It's and those who are committed make a pretty good living at it. But first and foremost, really, as our clients, we have that fiduciary responsibility to our clients. And how do you best achieve that is by staying proficient.
Excellent. What is the best real estate app or tech tool that you can't live without in your career?
Well, there are several, and they all have their pros and cons. One of them being the MLS, the CR MLS app, the MLS app, and there are a variety of other apps. I used to use Home Spotter and such, and they're all good. You can interact with your clients. Some of them are more robust than others in terms of the information that you glean from them. But I think it's a combination of all those things where you can research properties and send out information to your clients. And then, of course, with all the IDX, stuff that we have when we list properties, it's important to actually see what our listings look like to the public.
Excellent. What is one, and I think you already answered this, that's why I love getting to know all of you guys this way. But if you had to answer, what is one specific issue you believe SRCAR should prioritize in the coming year?
Well, I kind of touched upon it, and I think, again, that is to increase engagement and involvement from our membership as a whole. And, what would cause that to happen? Okay, kind of like the what's in it for me deal where, agents are out there living their lives, working hard, but they also have other things going on in their lives. So why would they take their time to put aside an hour to 3 hours or 4 hours, depending on what the training is, right? One is trying to keep it as direct and simple and to the point as possible while providing the information that they would benefit from, again, as I mentioned, at no cost to them. And I think that would go a long way. Having those sponsorships are huge.
Excellent. And then on a personal level, what do you hope to learn from serving on the board?
Well, it's just like when I, been serving on the grievance committee, you really get to learn, the different personalities, different perspectives. All while our jobs and our duties and functions are the same, people view things differently, right? So and that's what I like about having a board. I was kind of surprised as to how big the board is. I never realized how big it is, how many members there are. And I'm sure, the more people there are, the harder it may be to come to a consensus. But, again, it's not all about one person's vision or desires or demands, we'll say. It's about, coming together in a common way to achieve the goals.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much, Gabe. Right now, we'll take a break, see if we have any questions. Theresa, do we have any questions?
We do. We have one question. What steps did you take to engage with our fellow realtors and brokers?
Was that one meant for everybody or one candidate in particular?
This be for everybody.
Okay, how about we just, the 3 candidates we've spoken to so far answer that question. Theresa?
I'm sorry, one more time, Theresa?
What steps did you take to engage with our fellow realtors and brokers?
Oh my gosh, I have to think about that. I'm really involved in quite a few things. So, besides going to, events and just in the training that I do with our agents and with our company agents of over 300. I'm sorry, I have to think about that. Maybe come back to me.
It's a tough question because
yeah, exactly. I'm trying to go back.
And that's one thing I would love to state to our audience who's going to be asking questions. If you could be specific, like if it's for one person or, let's make it a little easier because, it's hard. It's tough being put on the spot and having to answer questions that you have no clue that are coming up. So rather than go to the other candidates, why don't we just make that a little more specific, that question, whoever the question asker was.
Okay, so to clarify, that question now says that that's for our past board members.
So past board members, what they've done personally, I can clear it up then. Here's the question. Past board members, which that's going to put Norm in there as well, in Bouma, because they are all serving on the board right now. What have each of you personally done to engage with the members rather than just, sitting on the board, which is not necessarily an engagement, it's a service, right? We're on this board to serve, but what are we doing to engage with our members? So Theresa, I don't know if you're ready to answer or if you want me to move on to somebody else.
Move on.
Okay, Kirk, how about you?
Well, the only way I can think of to really engage with members is to attend as many of the events that we hold as possible. I talk up the association and the value of the association to any realtor that I meet, especially at my own office, and try to get people engaged that way. The very first committee that I got involved in was I I always get the name, the one that for the marketing and pitch session. I got involved in that right away because I like Gabe, I was kind of dismayed at the lack of attendance. And that has been a focus of mine ever since, trying to get more people actively involved, and maybe not as successfully as I'd like, but I mean, basically, I just talk up what we're doing and try to get in front of as many people as I can. I'd be more than happy to talk to other brokerages about that if anybody were to invite me into their shop.
Mhm. All right, excellent. Bouma, how about you?
I love this question. Good morning, everybody. For me, it really is about showing up, right? Showing up, collaborating with the various different committees, letting them know that we're there, that we support them. And over this past couple months, I have been invited into other brokerages. And so just going in and talking to the broker one-on-one, I think is important. But the main thing is showing up, being visible within our association, and letting people know that when we are there, that we do care, that we do listen, and their voices are being heard. And I'll try to be brief.
Yes, thank you. Because Bouma can be not brief. Just saying.
He
We
is
love
passionate, and that's a good thing.
He is. Norm, how about you? Welcome to the party, Norm.
Thank you. Thank you. I was a little bit far out of service there for a bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here for this meeting. I kind of like this question. In one sense, I don't think any of us could really do everything that's on the table to reach out to all the brokers. I think it's more of a time, what you're involved in, what you're doing at the time, the timing of everything. It kind of takes me back almost when I was president of the Association of Realtors in Hemet. I remember having to reach out to brokers, and I went to just the basics, just picking up the phone and making phone calls. But I like some of the other thoughts that I heard here, how you reach out, as like right currently in the last, let's say 12 months or so, it's mainly like showing up to some of these committee meetings, or so showing up to any types of functions and whatnot. There's opportunities to meet with brokers, discuss with brokers, but then again, you know, as a director, what committee are you on? What purpose do you have to talk to brokers? So that's where I think it comes back to your timing of everything. It's like, you know, you could be on a grievance committee. So maybe there's some things you want to discuss to brokers about issues that may be coming up, or that you've have had to deal with, or, you know, let's say your passion is legislative committee. Now you're talking about you know, laws or things like that, are elected officials. So you might want to have a discussion with brokers about that. So it kind of depends on where you're at the timing of everything. But there's many opportunities, and bottom line, if you have to get out there and reach brokers, you know, we're in a sense of a power of influence, which is as a director or vice president or president. So a lot of brokers are too busy to even think about talking to just a regular old agent about stuff, especially if you're not in their own office. But coming from a director where you have specific ideas or thoughts, just picking up the phone and making a call, I think the old-fashioned way is the way. If something came up on my desk that I needed to talk to brokers about, that's either confront them at some of these committee meetings, functions, or just pick up the phone. You know, and I don't want to say that you can't email or text them as well, but, you know, to have a one-on-one conversation is definitely a way to go.
So we are going to move on from the question. So Theresa, you don't have to answer. Because we're at 45 minutes and we've only got 3 of you done. Hopefully you guys are all willing to hang out. I've come to realize in my role as president, we can't get anything done in an hour. So even if we say we're going to get it done in an hour, we're probably lying. We're not going to get it done in an hour. So just be prepared, guys. All right, we're going to move on to Clara. Miss Clara, we'd love to hear more about you. What's your story? Why and why now for the board?
Yes, and thank you so much for Michelle for that introduction. Yes, I'm Clara Asimakopoulos. I'm the broker owner of Flagship Real Estate. I've been living here in the Temecula Valley for over 40 years. When I first moved out here, I was married and we had a family business and we worked that. After that, I got divorced and went on to do some marketing and sales for a cosmetic surgeon in the area. And then I realized that I really wanted to do something else with my life and to help people. And so I decided to get into the real estate. I now have 30 years experience in the real estate industry, of which of those 30 years, I'm really proud to say that I have been a member of SRCAR for 25 years. And during those 25 years, because I'm so passionate about our board, I really am. And so in those 25 years, I have served in numerous committees. I'm currently the chair of the local government relations. I am on professional standards and have been for the last 13 years. I have served on grievance for 3 years. And I'm also on the iBroker Forum and the iBroker Core Committee. And back in the days, we did have the Education Committee, of which I was very instrumental in forming the SIG designation. And I was in the first graduating class. So that tells you how long I've been in real estate and being active in our board. I've been on the Legislative Committee, and I've also attended our marketing meetings, pretty much try to be as very regular as we could. I've been involved and supported a lot of the SRCAR events, which have been really, I just love, because this is a really great way to really meet people. This is how you meet your members and how you meet some brokers and to get out there and on a one-to-one. And because of that, I guess because I'm an independent broker, I have to be more free thinking, and I have to really get my information from going to a lot of these events and the educational things that we do have to offer at our board, which I'm really, really grateful that we have some wonderful speakers that come to speak to us. And like Gabe said, I think it's really, really would be great that, we don't have to pay for these classes. I think that's really important. But also I have worked alongside of a lot of elected officials in our area, like this Temecula and myriad city council members. As government affairs director for NARA Temecula Valley, I stood up to our local officials, and I've explained to them that how we really need affordable homes for home ownership and not for apartments, because I know that true home ownership is the way for building generational wealth. And I have gone to Washington, D.C. and to Sacramento. I've made some really good relationships with, our assembly members and our state senators. And I really advocate to the importance of reforming our lending practices and also the red tape that the builders have to go through to actually build affordable or houses that are affordable because of the cost that's involved with all that red tape. But I'm really running for the board of directors because I really want to be the voice and the advocate and the partner of our members in shaping the future of SRCAR. And that is why I'm asking all the people here that are listening to please vote for me. I appreciate that.
Excellent. Here are your questions. So what is something that you wish more realtors understood about their local association?
I think there are a lot of the members, for whatever reason, I don't know what exactly, I wish I understood that we really need to get them back to coming to attend. We really need to get that involvement in it. And one of the things is that we do as board of directors, and I plan on doing, is being out there, being vocal. Like I love to advocate, and I love when I have a passion for it as our CAR board. And we do need to bring them back. And one of the reasons, like somehow we can build is we have to give them a purpose and a reason for them to come back.
Mhm. Perfect. All right. What is the oddest thing you've ever seen in a listing photo?
The oddest thing I've ever seen in the what?
A listing photo.
Photo?
Joanne might want to take that question. Okay. I'll make sure you get that one, Joanne. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on a listing photo. Well, I have to really kind of think about that because I'm being on professional standards. We have to know
Yeah.
what you cannot have, right? So,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
sometimes that we do get cases that maybe they have something that they should not be showing.
Let me ask you Joanne's question instead, so you don't have to answer that because Joanne's ready. Joanne's question. So now you're going to answer this one. Joanne already has the listing photo one.
Okay. You want me to answer it?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trading. So, what is your real estate ick, Clara? What makes you cringe about real estate?
I don't know if I have anything that really makes me cringe.
Yeah.
One of the things I guess that does is this. We need professional and career realtors. We need those that need to be educated so that when we receive those offers, that they're cleaned and cut and that they're done and filled out completely so that we don't have to be calling and saying, well, what did you mean by that? Or what do you think of that? So I think one of the most important things is that we need to step up and bring our profession to a very professional level. I know we do that, but I think we still see a lot of the agents, and being on professional standards, I see a lot of what's happening. So I think that's what we need to do is to educate and tell them the importance of how to complete these forms.
Yeah, perfect. So what change would you advocate for to help improve the transparency or communication of SRCAR?
The transparency of SRCAR?
Or communication.
Yes. Yes. And I think, Michelle, one of the things that you started to do, which I think that needs to continue on, is when you're having these meetings with the brokers. These brokers meetings, I think, are effective. I know I've attended them and I've met other brokers, and I think that we need to kind of continue that because I think it stems from the brokers or the managers from these different offices. Begin to educate them and get them involved, and hoping that they realize that, we're not trying to get their agents to come on over to our office and things. We're here as SRCAR to bring value to your clients, to your members, to your realtors and stuff. And that's what I think. And we have to have that transparency that we're not after their agents.
Exactly. Thank you. What inspired you to run this year for the board, Clara?
Well, I'm like Gabe. I was very honored that I was asked to lead this. I think right now is, as I said, I've served on so many different committees. I think the last one is becoming board of directors now. I have attended some of these leadership meetings and gone to Washington, D.C. And I feel like I've got a passion for advocacy and for promoting out there the people's rights, property owner rights, advocating for that, advocating also what we need more homes and also about the lending. It's not just about home ownership. We also have to tell our elected officials that things have to change too. In order to be like the insurance companies here in the state of California. There's a lot that's kind of going on and a lot of things that we need to advocate. And I just have a passion for doing those things. And I love to donate my time and bring value to our SRCAR board because I feel that we're really very, very good.
Excellent. All right, here's your rapid fire. Mountains, beach, or desert?
Desert.
Okay.
I'm a desert girl. I'm a native Californian. I was born and raised in the Loma Linda, San Bernardino area. We didn't go to the ocean too much. but mountains, yeah, I'm big there, but I just don't, I just more of a desert person.
You're a desert girl.
I love a desert.
That's excellent. Okay, Samir, no pressure, but you are up. Let us know
Hi,
who you are and what brought you to this moment.
good morning. This is Samir Riad. Um, my passion with the real estate industry started back in the 80s. I was a young engineer at the time. I bought my first computer and I couldn't do any much with it. So I get the idea to do taxes for others as a side business. Uh, And that's when I started to see how people generate their wealth from real estate. So I bought my first home in 85. 1990, I started to be an investor and I learned a lot about the real estate industry, the mortgage, and the property management. And I've seen in the last 35 years how the real estate industry got evolved as far as loans and our contracts. The purchase agreement was like a couple of pages, 2-3 pages, and MLS, how everything changed. In the 2004, I bought Best Choice Property Management, and I became a real estate broker in 2006. And after that, I got my NMLS license as a loan broker. So I used to oversee over 250 tenants at one time. And then I did mortgage and real estate as well. And that gave me a good broad overview and appreciation of the industry. And in engineering, I learned a lot. To be a problem solver, how to be a lead, how to multitask, and focus on results. Why am I wanted to serve on the board? In the last few years, I've been asked a couple of times from some of our previous presidents of the board, if you call them, and then I was too busy in my business. And finally, a couple of years ago, I sold my property management business, and that freed up a lot of my time. And now I wanted to step up and try to help the other real estate agents and property management managers how to go by their business and how they evolve their business forward. Because after all, it is a business. It is not just buying and selling. And I believe in continuous improvement process. Everybody, regardless how high you go and how much you learn, you still can do more.
Yep.
And professional development is part of it.
Excellent. Thank you, Samir. Now your
Sure.
questions are up.
Sure.
In what ways would you promote inclusivity and diversity within our membership and leadership?
Can you tell me what you after?
Like what we're looking for? Well, I didn't create these questions, so these are just random. But
No,
let's
that's
just talk
okay.
about, we want to make sure, and you can even look at it not necessarily from race or anything specific like that, but it's getting, how would you promote for the association? This is how I understand the question. How would you promote the association to be more inclusive in a way that makes people feel more comfortable to come in, to get involved? Maybe that doesn't, like I said, it might not be based on race. It might be based on
I never got the race part
All
of
right.
it. Been here 46 years.
Yeah.
And that race part is not, never mind, that's a different issue.
Yeah.
No, I believe collectively as members, and if I'm one of the board members as well, I would find ways for these different backgrounds, if you call it, how to come and engage and to be as good business people first, and to be a real estate agent, because a real estate agent need to know a lot of other things in the background, so understand your clients.
Yes.
You wanted to understand your client's need, if it is just a property for their own home, or an investor, or starting as a property and then wanted to change that property later on to be an investor and to go on. And that's how you build your, if you call it, the base for your future clients. And that's how I work with my clients, to make them understand, hey, I know this and I understand that. So our members need to understand more than just the real estate and the contracts and MLS. And I believe our board or our SRCAR, we need to maybe give some courses on different things, how to be a good business person beside being a real estate agent. That's how they be successful. And that's my feeling.
Excellent. Thank you.
Sure.
Does your car have a name? And if so, what is your car's name?
My car?
Your car. Have you named your car? My car has a name. No?
My car, meaning the car I drive?
The car you drive. Does your car have a name?
Well, I have my last one, the one I drive now, it is Mercedes, but I didn't give it a name. It is my...
What would you name your Mercedes if you were forced to give her a name? Or him, or them.
Would be my pal.
Okay, my pal. I love that. Do you prefer
I cannot go anything without this car.
Exactly, it's your pal.
Right.
Here's your rapid fire: Instagram or LinkedIn?
I am not on Instagram or LinkedIn. Most of my clients were mostly by referrals and word of mouth and my Facebook. And I had enough. In my business, I had over 115 owners, and I had up to 250 tenants at one time without doing a lot of any advertisement, actually. And the people would just tell other owners, and I help them to grow their business and how to become good investors, and how they grow, and that's how I grew.
That's the best way to grow, in my opinion.
Right.
How will you balance your business and your board responsibilities? This is a very important question for all of you guys to think about, because it's volunteer, but it's a commitment. And you think, oh, a couple times a month, it's more. It's very rewarding. But Samir, how are you personally going to balance?
I waited until I sold my property management business. I was too busy. I could not do anything. I wouldn't be able to do it. Now I have more time, and I live in Menifee, and I'm lucky to be in Menifee. Now I started to go to Melida office for the meeting, and I go to Hemet office for their meeting, because my office in Hemet. So I just got lucky that I'm in between, and I go to both. And it is a blessing to see how other members in both locations.
Excellent. And then your last question is just for you to give like a member focused answer. How do you think SRCAR, what's going to be your thing that you're going to want to focus on to help us support our agents, brokers better? What is the one thing you think we need to work hard on?
Most likely will be professional development. And professional development doesn't mean just real estate, as I mentioned. There's other things that we wanted to encourage the other members, how to be a good real estate agent with a good background in their business and how to go about it. And I think that's how we can help our members, property managers, and real estate agents.
Excellent. Thank you, Samir, so much.
Sure.
Up next is Yvonne Ruiz. So hi, Yvonne. We're so glad you got on.
Finally, thank you, Jesus.
Why don't you just take a few moments to tell us who you are and why this opportunity to serve matters to you?
Hello, everyone. Yvonne Ruiz with Exit Alliance Realty. I don't know how far back I can go on this.
Well, I mean, you can go as far back as you want, as long as it's like in a short time.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, I actually started in the real estate industry in 1996 when I lived in Texas. I've always liked numbers. I've always want to learn more. When I finish a task, like, oh, I want to learn that one. I want to see what positions, and it was pretty good. So then I moved to California, and I decided to be a loan officer. So I took my real estate test in 2000, and I had babies. So I let go of being a loan officer. It was too stressful for me. Fast forward to 2012, and back then I still do have my my notary business. I became an affiliate with SRCAR, and I liked it. I was like, okay, I want to do this, and I let go of being the Temecula Chamber to put my focus into SRCAR, since that's my industry. I want to learn more. I want to educate myself more. And I was with the affiliate committee literally for 4 years, and I helped out. We had meetings. We helped get the members to events, and volunteered my time, and whatever they needed, I was literally there. I didn't do the committee person, but I like giving myself to them. Like, this is what we know. Let's do this. Let's do that, because I was all over the place at that time. And then in 2016, I was like, okay, I'm doing this. I want to go into being a realtor to pretty much help in the Hispanic community, because I believe there's a lot of non-educated realtors out there that speaking the language is one thing. Knowing the terminology of real estate is a totally different world. That it's actually not being out there to educate. And I see that a lot nowadays. And once I joined, I was like, all right, so what's out there? And I spoke to Connie, I spoke to other staff members. I was like, oh, I want to do that. So I joined committees right away. I joined education at the time. And legislative has always been something that intrigues me, because you cannot not learn without that. That's how we are realtors, by learning the legislative side of it. And yes, education, you educate learning the legislative side of it. And a lot of realtors are missing that point. That you cannot go out there to educate your clients when you need more education from our association in order to bring that to help them. And then grievance came about. I was like, all right, I truly like this. And I've been in grievance for 5 years. I think pro standards is the next step, but I've actually liked grievance. I've learned something new every time we have a meeting. And I was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. And this is where we need to come in. Why are we getting so many cases when it comes from the brokers? The brokers get educated to educate the realtors. And if we're seeing certain things that are like the slightest things, it shouldn't happen. Like, why is it happening? So I don't know, like, where in this education part of it, like, where can we help our members to get more education? Not, we're getting events here, events there. We do need events. I know that. We do need workshops. We do need, Zoom meetings. My thing is, why isn't the members blowing up a Zoom? Why aren't we having 600, 800 people watching a Zoom meeting when what happened to us last year with a lawsuit and we lost it, and attorneys from CA are talking, and it's so much out there that was given to us. I don't understand why they weren't there to learn, and that way they can tell the clients how this is what's happening. This is it's gonna change now. A lot of changes happen in real estate. California changes a lot. I mean, you blink and you're learning something new in July, and December you learn something new in December. So whatever we're used to doing, we're learning as we're going. And I don't know, like, where is the connection? Where can we get our members that pay association dues, local CAR and NAR dues, that are not here? I'm looking at how many people are participating right now. It's 27 out of 1,000 people that we have here. That's it gets me, I'm very passionate about it.
No,
I really want to be able
it really
to
shows.
help our members and make them come, you know. The same with MLS meetings. Yes, we went from every week to twice a month now. Yeah, so but technically, like, why aren't they there? Like, what are we missing? When I hear of San Diego and IBAR and all these other associations, like, they're getting members in there, like nothing, 100+ members in meetings. Like, where are we not connecting with them? Why are we not connecting a certain way?
I agree. Thank you.
But yeah.
Here's your question. We're going to go into your questions, and your fun question is first. So, if your career had a theme song, what would it be?
Don't stop believing.
The what?
Keep going. Don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing. Journey.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, that's a Journey song. It's excellent.
Y'all better know who Journey is.
Yeah, you better know who Journey is. Come on. All right. So here we go into your serious questions. How has your experience as a realtor prepared you for leadership in SRCAR?
Well, as I said before, being in those committees have helped me see what else we can do for our realtors. I've also been in other networking leadership roles. I've been membership director, finance director. I've also chaired in different committees as well. So all of that information, I literally have a sponge for it. Once I gather that information, like, I want to be able to utilize it, one, to my clients, and two, to other realtors, especially the new ones that are coming in, and educate them as well. I know it's not my job because I know brokers are there to, you know, help on the real estate side to their realtors, but why not? I mean, we're all literally in the same situation with this, you know, we're part of this board. Like, we need to be there to help out, whether they're not our brokers or they're not our, you know, part of our brokerage or realtors. We're all friends. We're all after one thing, and that's to help and educate our clients.
Exactly. Thank you. What is the best piece of advice you'd give to a brand new realtor, Yvonne?
Learn and educate, especially RPAs and the listing agreements. Yes. Learn as much as you can, because the verbiage changes all the time. You read, I mean, I just went to the one on Friday and there's red lines everywhere. And I was just writing, like, I need to look at this. I need to read this. Like, literally, like, being a realtor is not about closing deals and getting your money and then you're done. No, this is about building relationships. This is about using your sphere of influence. This is to be able to educate as much as you can. And I actually was sitting with somebody on Friday, and she was asking me, what's the BRBC? I'm about to fall off my chair. Like, excuse me? Like, you don't know what this is? So I'm literally telling her, she's like, oh, I had no idea. Like, did you know about the lawsuit that happened last year? She was, what lawsuit? Like, I just can't, like, oh, okay, let me tell you. So I literally sat with her. I don't know how new she was. And she gave me her card. I gave her her card, my card as well. And she goes, all right, hopefully I see you in another one, like, hopefully.
Excellent. And then your last question is, what experience do you have, if any, with serving on a board or strategic planning? And I think you kind of already touched on that, but
yeah.
But
well, in serving, yeah.
So we know.
Yeah, in serving, yeah, definitely.
Yes. All right. So that's it for Yvonne. We're going to move on to Norm so he can get back to driving, going wherever he was on his way to. Hi, Norm.
Hi there.
Most already know he's currently one of our board members. Tell us a little about yourself and why you're seeking another term.
Hi, everybody. I'm Norm Kyriss. I started real estate back in 1991 in Hemet, and I'm still in Hemet, serving to this day. So I've got many years of real estate behind me. In regards to leadership, I remember wanting to be president of the local association in Hemet years ago. And I remember one thing they told me, it's going to be about an 8 or a 9 year commitment. And the reason being is because you have to serve in some committees before you have to work your way up the ladder. Serve in committees, serve as a director, vice president, president, and vice president. So I'm going back to somewhere around 2004, 2005. I think when I started this, getting into serving on the board of directors. Now, after that, I had some time off. We had a merger with SRCAR. I remember Terry Ryan coming up to me one year, asking me if I would consider serving again. And at the time, I felt like I was in a good position to serve and give back to the community, or give back to the membership, that is. So anyway, that's how I got back involved in SRCAR on the board of directors. I see what drives me, I guess, jokingly a little bit of peer pressure is why I am kind of going back into leadership. I have many years of experience in the industry and also serving as a board of directors. So I bring a lot of wealth of knowledge to the table of, being on this board of directors so long, traveling to Sacramento over the years, quite a few times. Remember one year I traveled to NAR to Chicago. So I've got a lot of experience and know-how that I could provide sitting at the table. So anyway, I just like to give back to the membership. A little bit, I guess it's a little bit selfish as well. And why I say selfish is because there's so much to gain personally from serving. So if you're looking for knowledge, you've got brokers sitting across the table from you, from other offices. You've got your one broker who has their agenda and they're telling you to do this or that, and that's the way they want you to go. And then, a matter of fact, when I first got involved, my broker said, don't get involved. He wanted me strictly to do sales, listings and sales. But there was something deep inside of me that always wanted to give back. And so anyway, you have an opportunity to meet with other brokers and agents and just learn from their experiences. So I'm always striving to chase knowledge, and I couldn't think of a better place. All the meetings, committee meetings that are at hand where you learn so much. I think risk management at CAR was a great committee that I was on years ago. That's where I was first introduced to Gov, but talking about all the legalities of real estate, I can absorb more going to those committees and listening to real life experiences than sitting, at a table reading a book. My wife is more like that, where she can, get book knowledge. I like to go out and hear the experiences. So I think for selfish reasons, why you want to continue to serve is just to continue to strive for more knowledge, find out what's going on. Like I heard a statement about an agent that didn't know about a lawsuit. Well, if I was listing and selling and putting my nose to the grindstone and not really aware of what's going on, I probably wouldn't have heard about it either. But that's where serving, you get to learn so much more outside of your normal offices or your normal broker who's trying to, who has their agenda and what they want you to know. So anyway, I think that's all in a nutshell.
Yeah. So just think of the one thing, and one thing I can say is sitting at the table there, there's a lot of us, there's 14 of us, right? Sitting at the table, each one of us has unique perspectives, right? Each one of us have different passions and different things we want to bring. So Norm, considering your true passion, how is your presence on the board going to make a difference for the members there? For the members, not the people at the table.
Right. You bring up a good point, because in one sense, this board of directors, we all come. I've served on many different boards where you want different perspectives and different people, different ideas. But in our case, we're all real estate agents. We're in the industry, so we're all like-minded.
Mm-hmm.
But if we all thought the same, and then what would be the purpose of having a board if we all just said yes to everything that came by and we're all thinking the same thing? So I think just bringing something that's different to the table that our day-to-day members are going through, because agents, everybody's going through different experiences, and I've been doing this so long that every time I say that, well, I've seen everything, well, I've stopped saying that years ago, because every year there's something new that comes up in our industry. So I think just trying to take a different look at things could help, I think, the overall membership, whether it's right or wrong, or whether we go in that direction or not. It's just more like food for thought, trying to have a different perspective or a different direction about how we handle things could help our membership.
Okay, what would you do personally to encourage more member participation in our events or committees?
More member participation.
Mm-hmm.
I always go back to when I first started. You've got to bring value to the membership. And it's something that we're going to struggle for the next 10 or 20 years, bringing value. Why does the association exist, and why should I participate in it? So I think we got to answer that age-old question. How can we bring value where they want to be involved? So I think better transparency. I've heard that this morning. But somehow we got to connect the dots where they want to strive for a thirst of, this is going to help my personal business because of this committee, or this event, somehow the networking that could be involved. So I think we've just got to figure out how to connect those dots of where they're seeing value in our services. Otherwise, why be a part of the association? Save the money and don't, just be independent. So, there's some risk involved there. So they are already seeing value. I think it's just getting a better understanding. And if they had a better understanding, kind of the perspective that I mentioned earlier about striving for knowledge, if you're just going to the same office every day and you're hearing your broker every day, go out and meet clients and just list and sell properties, you're not getting that perspective or that extra knowledge that you can gain from mingling with different agents and brokers.
Excellent. So what is one feature you secretly love in a home, even if it's outdated?
One feature I love in a home, even if it's outdated. Well, I'm gonna just have to say the kitchen area. I like to cook. I like to stay at home and cook my own meals and not go out. So I think a feature, just a nice quality kitchen, would be the feature, whether it's outdated or not.
Yeah, excellent. And then your final question, what is your favorite season? In Southern California specifically, since that's the area we serve.
Well, I'm not going to say summer.
Oh yeah, not out
So
here.
it's going to have to be, it's probably winter time, and where it's cloudy and rainy, and
Ooh.
which I do not get enough of.
I
So
know.
winter time.
Fun fact, I won't look it up now because it'll take too much time, but I just found the word for those of us because I love the rain too. I actually get in a better mood with the rain and the clouds, and there's an actual scientific word for us. I'll text it to you later.
Okay.
All right. So since we are running so over on time, we're going to hold off on the audience questions for now till the end. I want to make sure all the candidates have their adequate time to talk. Esmeralda, you're next. Let's welcome Esmeralda to the floor. We'd love to hear a little about your background and what led you to run this year.
Hi guys. I don't know if I'm last. I feel like I'm last, but
Last.
there's more.
We still have Mr. Bouma, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Melida Esmeralda Sanchez. I do go by Esmeralda. That's my name when I was a child. But I do answer to Melida too because I'm too old. I'm old enough to be able to answer to both names now. I've been in the business for over 20 years. I actually started in this business by chance. It wasn't something that I went out to look for. I was in college with 2 kids. Oh, actually, I had 4 kids by then. I was in college and I'm going to get my teaching degree. So I actually have a degree in interdisciplinary studies from National University in San Diego. It's where I lived. And when I graduated, I had actually started my my career in community, like giving back by working at nonprofits. So I learned a lot about nonprofits early on in my career. When I got into real estate, it was a broker who was selling my house, or a broker who did a loan for me. And he said, "Hey, have you ever thought about, real estate?" I'm like, "What is that?" I had no clue what real estate was. I didn't know what it took. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. He says, "Oh, you just have to talk to people and I'll come along and help you." I'm like, "Okay, that sounds like something I like to do anyway." So I've always been a talker. I've always been the one that raises my hand. I'm always the one asking the questions. And so when I first started real estate, it was perfect for me because I had to stay home. There was no way that I could have 4 kids and be a teacher at $33,000 a year in San Diego County. My husband was working as well. So I was fortunate enough to be able to start my business without having a whole lot, without having to make a whole lot of money in the first year. But that being said, within 4 months of, I got my license right away. It took me 4 months. Within 6 months of being a realtor, I had made $50,000. I was like, "Oh shit, this is a good job." That's more than what I would have made as a teacher. Right. So then I started my real estate career then, and it was perfect. It worked with my schedule, with my kids, with everything. And then I, worked, I just did loans. I learned. It was a lot of learning when I first started. I wish I would have known then what I know now. I wish I would have gotten involved as I am involved now. And I think a lot of the realtors don't know. That's why they don't get involved. They don't see the value of giving your time. So today, I can tell you that this is not my job. This is my career. This is part of my life. I always tell my realtors, hey, don't look at real estate as a third job, a second job, a part-time job. If you're going to do this business, because it's a business, this has to be incorporated into your life. So you don't have to give up your days with your kids. You don't have to give up, your personal life. You have to incorporate it. And that is a difficult task because you have to be organized. There's so many other skills that need to be developed in order to be in real estate. As a broker owner of Honest Realty, I've been privileged enough to have had my first broker to allow me to do whatever the hell I wanted 20 years ago. That's scary today. I would never let a realtor loose and say, "Go open an office and, somewhere 100 miles from my office," because I started in San Diego County. So I've learned so much through the real estate, and I really love helping my community. And that's because someone helped me when I started. that's a little bit about me and my background. And I do have 6 kids and 5 grandkids. So my hands are full, and I've been doing this for 20 years. At the softball field, I was doing my contracts. I was talking to people. I was marketing. So that's my way of incorporating real estate into my life. And I would love to bring that to a greater audience as a board of director. And that's why I really would love to show and give my skills, because someone helped me along the way. As I've been the property management chair for going on 3 years because no one else wanted to do it. And that's the truth about doing extra things from your business. Why am I going to leave, going to do a listing? Why am I going to give up for $50,000 to go to a meeting where we just sit around and do nothing? Is what most perception of being on boards are right now. So to me, I want to change that perception. I want to change the way that realtors see our industry. We cannot be in the same place that we were 20 years ago or even 5 years ago. Pre-COVID, post-COVID, different industry. We've had so many changes. I'm also your chair for the governing board committee. I'm your co-chair for the professional development committee. I am a SIG graduate. I started taking education when education was being offered through that designation. And with my knowledge, I've been on different boards besides on an SRCAR. I was the chair for the Hispanic networking committee for the Jimenez San Jacinto Chamber. That's my past board experience or past experience being on boards. I'm currently on the board for the Rotary in Hemet. I'm the chair for the youth community, the youth committee. And I've also been on the board with Valley-wide as the softball, on the softball committee when my children were part of the sports. So I have a lot of experience, I believe, in helping and serving. And I've seen a lot of people, different walks of life. I'm a natural recruiter, connector. I want to hear what the gaps are. I want to hear what the needs are. And it differs between generations, genders, culture. There's so much.
You froze. Oh no. Esmeralda, you're frozen.
School.
Oh, there
so for me, can you hear me?
Well, you froze for a moment. So,
I'm so sorry.
I have a good question, because a lot of your questions you're answering in your intro. So let me ask you the questions. I didn't know you'd be that prepared. Let's just put it that way in your intro. So let me
if anybody knows me, I cannot be unprepared.
I am well aware. So let's ask your questions and see if we can get on track with that. So what is something you wish more realtors understood about their local association and the purpose of a local association?
That it's a resource, a tool. They have to understand that this is a place they can come to get support to grow their business. I see my career, I see my business as a career. Most realtors see it as a quick dollar. Or they just, they just go in and take a 6-week class or I'm sorry, like not 6 weeks, but 3-month class. They don't know the first thing about building a business, a lot of the realtors. So they need to see that we are the resource to help them make that money that they say desperately need. Not everyone's going to be in leadership. Not everyone's going to be a broker, but what resources they have, what can we provide that is valuable?
Excellent. Okay, excellent. What is your real estate spirit animal?
My what animal?
Your spirit animal for real estate. If you had to pick a spirit animal for your real estate,
oh my God,
what would it be?
I had an answer for everything else you were asking everybody.
Well, there are 2 questions in here that are meant to trip you guys up so we can see how you handle pressure.
A spirit animal?
Yeah, your spirit animal. That's an easy one. Come on. Even I could pick a spirit animal.
Maybe a tiger?
Yeah, I would say tiger or wolf. Yes.
A tiger, because you have to have thick skin.
Yes, you
And
do.
and I really do hope that I can help, like a vision that I have. My vision of being on the board is to champion membership success, to
Excellent.
strengthen our voices, and to ensure fiscal responsibility for a healthy association. We have choices. We're in the in the social media era.
Yeah,
There's no secrets out there anymore.
right, right, exactly. What's the first car you owned?
A
Let us know
Nova.
your first car. A Nova. I have a dog named Nova. I love it. All right, now this is a serious question. What legacy or impact would you like to leave through your board service? And I'm just going to forewarn you, I'm going to let my cat out or she's going to scream at the door. So I'm going to get up and walk away, but you please answer that question.
That is so crazy that that's the question that is for me, because I keep telling my son, who's also a broker associate, bachelor's degree with, from UCR. He says, Mom, why do you do this? I said, it's to leave a legacy. What do you mean? You want a statue somewhere? I said, no, that's not what I mean. I mean that I want to leave an impact, saying that, we can help each other, that we can be a team, that we can work together, that we can collaborate as humans, that you're not alone out there. This is, and if by the attendance, I'm going to say 10%, but that's not even 10% of our memberships. By our attendance, I can see that realtors are alone out there. They're not collaborating at our trainings. They're not collaborating at our meetings. They're not, getting involved. So I would love to see that next year, when we have this same forum, that there are 20 other people that have applied for this, that found out that your SRCAR Association of Realtors is here for you.
That's excellent. And then your last question is, what do you believe is the most misunderstood aspect of what SRCAR does for its members? The most misunderstood aspect is what we're looking for.
That you charge for everything, that we pay too much stuff. It's always money, money, money. And, they don't understand, because 90% of realtors aren't making that much money. So to them, that is a problem. That's an issue. I have 10 realtors on referral only because they can't afford to pay for dues. So if they could understand that it's an investment that you can get back 50,000 times if you just were part of it and use it as your resource. There's so many apps and things that we put out. There's so many trainings and plannings that we have, like education, that fee it's not just to try to take your money.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to move on to Joanne. And you were actually, I'm just reading my notes, right? Joanne, I didn't think you weren't going. Just to make it clear. And man, do people have your back? I got so many questions that Joanne still has to go. I know you do. I know. So now
It's
we're
okay, honey. The best for the last, right?
Well, you're not last. You still have diploma. Yeah. But anyway, what should we know about you? What made you decide to run?
Okay, I'll keep this simple and brief because we are way over time. I'm Joanne Castro. For those of you who don't know, I'm the broker owner of residential real estate here in Temecula. I'm running for the board of directors because I care deeply about our profession, our association, and definitely our future. I've been a longstanding member of SRCAR. Like Yvonne, I first joined as an affiliate back in 2011, 12, as a notary as well. And I've been in real estate. My first real job out of college was First American Title Insurance in Santa Cruz. So part of it has been in my blood for my, whole adult life. I'm currently serving on various committees and used to be on the board for WCR, but my real passion is pro standards grievance, and I'm currently serving as an ethics advocate both locally and on the state levels. And the reason why is because I believe strongly in honesty, accountability, and standing up for what's right. So I will tell you that I will always show up. I will always speak up. Sometimes you may not want me to, but I will. And make sure moving forward that we're ensuring that our agents and brokers' voices and interests are actually heard and protected and keep our association strong. So I just appreciate your vote. And there you go. Ask your questions.
I love it. Here's the questions. So what role do you think local associations should play in addressing housing affordability?
Well, we do that now through legislation in Sacramento back in, was it April, right? When we were there?
No, April. Yeah.
That was not my first time. I've been there with WCR before, but really it brought home again what we as an association and realtors, what we really do, how we protect all of us, you, me, our neighbors, with fighting for good laws that support our ability for home ownership. You know, that's a tough question because on one side, we don't want values to go down or anything that anybody that currently owns a house to lose value, but we also want people to have more housing. So
Right.
I think it's removing some of the very tough barriers for builders that are over and above. Okay. And just like that stupid little rat out in the desert. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Remove that rat. Who cares? Build something, be positive, make more money, right? The rat could go away. I'm sorry. Stuff like that.
Right. No, and I know that's a hard question, but I think you answered it really well because that's something I personally struggle with. Yeah, we don't want people to lose equity, and equity is fabulous. But what are we going to do about those 3,000 students that are graduating in a couple years or what have you? They can't get jobs to afford homes.
No, we need to help clear the way to make building and, all of that more accessible.
Exactly. And that's, I think, a great answer, Joanne.
Yep.
Let me see. We want you to share the weirdest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Photo. You were excited about that, I could tell.
Oh my God. So it was this lovely home and then this picture of a bathroom. And the bathroom, it's a shower tub combo with a step to an exit door outside. It was the most bizarre thing ever in the world.
Sometimes you got to make a quick exit.
Yeah.
So,
well, oh my God.
Closed or not.
It was very interesting.
Okay. I am going to ask you, dogs, cats, or chickens?
Oh, hello, dogs.
Dogs. Okay. Okay. So, Joanne, why do you believe now is the time for you to serve in a director role?
Sorry, my there goes one of the dogs.
I didn't hear one, so you're good. Yeah.
Why now?
Yeah, why now?
My experience, time, and I'm willing to give it. That's the key. And being part of being an ethics advocate and being part of Pro Standards, the things I see and hear and help with, I just think it's time.
Excellent. So I'm going to ask you one more question. And that is going to be, how do you personally stay up to date on your contracts and all of that? What's the way you do that?
Constant education. Those that know me, I'm not just a type A. I'm a type A, control freak of some sort. I like knowledge. I like actually doing paperwork. I like being known, knowing what is going on. So it's education. It's also communicating with other brokers. I'm an independent broker. We use our association a great deal. I have friends, so many friends in the industry. We're constantly talking with each other, learning, what's going on and sharing, and communication is huge.
Very much. All right, and the last question, I don't think I've asked you this one yet. Why do you believe now is the right time for you to serve? Did I just ask that?
Yeah, you just did.
Okay, well, I'm tired. We're almost on 2 hours. So
Okay.
let's get this wrapped up. Thank you so much, Joanne.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your vote.
Yeah, you're great. Thank you. Michael Bouma, Mr. Bouma.
Yes,
What's
ma'am.
the first thing? Well, why don't you tell us why you're running? For those of you who don't know, Mr. Bouma has served for the last year as an appointed director, appointed by me because, he's just a great guy. But why don't you tell us more about your experience on the board and why you've chosen to run for an elected seat this term?
Perfect. Well, I thank you, and good morning. I think we can still
It's
say
afternoon,
it's
almost.
it's 11:45, so it's still technically morning. So good morning, and I definitely want to appreciate everybody's stamina, because I know I'm standing between you now and the rest of your day. So I'll try to be brief, although as it's been said, get a microphone in front of me and sometimes it's hard for me to shut up. But I am passionate, like Gabe said, so I do appreciate that. But let's just tell a little bit about you, or about me, for those of you that don't know me. I am Michael Bouma. I'm a longtime Murrieta resident. I'm a third generation realtor who received my sales license in 1988. Yes, I was 12, and my broker's license in 2000, which means I've been around long enough to remember pagers, handwritten contracts, faxes, Thomas guides, and of course our infamous property books. So I'm running for the board because I believe we are at a critical moment in our ever-changing industry. We need leaders who are in the trenches, who understand the challenges brokers and agents face day to day, and who are actively shaping the future of our industry. For me, I have the privilege and the honor of serving on almost every committee at SRCAR, from grievance, legislative, diversity, the iBroker Forum, and of course, professional development, having chaired several of those. But I also represent our association on the state level. I serve on California Association of Realtors Forum on Forums, Fair Housing, and Diversity Committees, and I am a self-funded committee member. So yes, forum updates are coming at the end of the month. You can either love me or hate me for some of the changes that are coming down the pipeline. But my commitment to our association and to the board is clear. I believe in speaking up. I believe in speaking out, being informed, being effective, and of course, being an engaged leader. So, and those of you that know me know that I'll always sneak in a good little one-liner once in a while just to keep the meetings a little interesting and keep people on their toes. So, really all of my work at SRCAR really has just reinforced my belief that leadership is about service. It's not about a title. It's about listening, showing up, being willing to do all the hard work behind the scenes. And then, obviously when elected this time, I will advocate for you, for our profession, and for the future of real estate, because I care deeply about our industry. I believe in our region, and of course, I believe in our association. So strength lies in collaboration, transparency, which has been talked about, and empowering our members. So I promise to advocate for us, support the next generation, and never forget where we've been, and then also where we're going, because service is over ego, solutions are over noise, and the realtors deserve leadership that listen, speak up, and show up. So I would be honored for your support and your voice. And if you don't believe me, because I do think outside the box, I have some friends that want to say something.
Michael's the leader to take a stand. Vote for Michael, the one you trust for real estate. He's a must. Your voice matters, let's make it clear. Michael's the leader year after year.
And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, you have questions to answer, so don't think you're going off with a song, because it doesn't work out.
Okay.
I want to know the best piece of advice you'd give to a brand new realtor.
Well, the best piece of advice that I always tell everybody is look, if you got into real estate and you did all your classes and you think that's it, wrong. Um, I've been doing this for over 36 years and I'm learning stuff every day. So, you have to keep an open mind and you have to have that willingness and the eagerness to just constantly better yourself and take classes and ask questions, right? Because I always tell people too, no question is a dumb question except for the question you didn't ask.
Excellent. I love that. Why don't you give us just a really quick, you've done a lot and you already did explain to us all of the things that you've done for SRCAR over the years, which it's a lot. But what about your experience with other nonprofit boards or strategic planning that we might be able to pull from, that to bring to this board?
Well, thank you for asking, because that is actually something that I didn't bring up in my opening. I had the honor and the privilege of serving on a local nonprofit in Orange County for almost 20 years. And out of those 20 years, I would say 70% of those years were I held an executive committee position. So either the chair, the vice chair, or the secretary. I believe the only position within the executive committee I didn't hold was treasurer, because again, I allow people that have better knowledge of something take that over. So and in those years, well, obviously it was working with elected officials and communities, and it was just it's important to me to give back, and that's one of the reasons why I give so much of myself to SRCAR, is because I've been in the industry for so long that I've taken and taken and taken, and this is my time now to give back. As a third generation, my grandfather gave back. I know my mom gives back. So it's all about giving back.
Excellent. What's the first thing you do in the morning when you wake up, Michael? You don't have to get into the bodily function part of it, just the rest of it.
I am blessed that when I wake up every morning, there is my Yeti full of hot coffee. So I take a sip of my hot coffee every morning, wipe my eyes, and then eventually jump in the shower.
Sounds like you have a great partner. So
I do.
If you're getting warm coffee at the bedside table every morning, that's fabulous. And then our last question for you. Did I lose it? No. Oh, I guess that, no. Hold on. I'm so unorganized. How is your experience as a realtor prepared you for this type of leadership? Which I think you touched on. Maybe there's something you could add that you didn't already say.
Well, again, we're entering the era of AI, and our industry is changing. Fundamentally, what we do on the back end is changing. And so I think having the knowledge of growing up in the industry. I mean, I started at my grandfather's office when I was 15, helping him run the back office and making sure forms were filled out. Again, we hand wrote them, right, back then. But having that knowledge and understanding of where we've been so that we can help shape and mold where we're going, and hopefully bring in not only our seasoned professionals, but these brand new young kids that do everything on their phone and don't know how to communicate.
Right. So guys, that's the end of our introductions and questions. A couple ending thoughts. I know we went over, but we have 10 candidates, right? And my vision for having this Zoom, not only to make it easy to record so people can watch it, because we understand not everyone can sit on a Zoom at a certain time on a certain day, especially not in our profession, because if our profession calls for anything, it's, flexibility, right? But in the meantime, we've got 2 hours of a video. So Theresa doesn't know this yet. My brain's turning as I'm thinking, she made a great point, as Theresa always does, is that a 2-hour video might not get as many views as a 1-hour video. So What I'm going to ask Theresa to do, just so everybody's fair and we don't have people being at the end of a long video, is break that video into half. So we'll have 2 videos. We'll do the 5 candidates and then the 5 candidates. We'll make sure it's clearly noted what candidates are on there. And then that way, hopefully, our membership will take the time to watch both videos and really get to know you, because my vision for this was so we could actually get to know you, right? And a prepared video snippet and all of that just isn't, that's not getting to know you. That's what you think you need to do in a video to get a vote, which I appreciate, believe me. But we really, I mean, I feel like I got to know each and every one of you better from this. So I appreciate you joining us. I appreciate nearly everybody hung on, which is fabulous, told me it wasn't boring. So thank you for joining us. And if we do have any questions, I think we could probably take a couple questions. Just please raise your hand. In the meantime, anybody who has to go, I appreciate the heck out of you for sticking around so long. But if anyone has to go, please feel free to jump on. But if anyone has any questions, please raise your hand and I will look for it.
No questions under Q&A or chat.
Wow.
And I don't see any hands raised.
That's fabulous. Either people choose.
Denise has her hand raised.
Yeah. Maybe. Oh, Denise. Unmute yourself, darling.
Yes. So good morning. First of all, you guys all did a fabulous job and everybody looks so good on screen too. So I'm just going to throw this question out there and whoever is brave enough to answer it, that would be perfect. So I think Norm stated that, and when you have a board that have different opinions, that makes an even better and more effective board. So my question to you is, how do you approach resolving disagreements between board members while keeping the focus on the association's mission?
Excellent question. Does anyone want to tackle that one? Gabe.
Yay. Go ahead.
Yeah, kind of a similar way that I kind of conduct myself or approach those type of situations during grievance committee meetings. As you know, different personalities, different backgrounds, different, various experience levels and such. But to me, I would look at, okay, what is that disagreement? What is the crux of it? What did that disagreement stem from? And what is it that they're really disagreeing about? And how does that correlate to what it is that we're trying to achieve, right? And then bring on, because even though people disagree, they may be polar opposites. The fact that they're on the board or on a particular committee is to affect a decision, right? And to make a decision based on the facts at hand. So I just try to strip it all out, strip out emotions and personalities and get to the bottom of it so that we can come to a consensus.
Excellent.
Awesome. That's an excellent answer. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, it's what's best for our members and our mission and our vision. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. All right, everyone, we got it done under 2 hours. So thank you so much for joining us. For those of you who are going to be watching this in the future, thank you so much. There are a lot of good things coming for SRCAR. I can tell you that right now. And the fact that all of you are willing to volunteer your time, your effort, your energy, your brilliant ideas, I can't tell you. I actually legit got goosebumps. Probably can't see it, but it's a fabulous thing. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you everyone for watching.
Michelle, you did a fabulous job. Michelle.
It was great. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye.